All right, folks, here we are for a first for me. This is my first ever full penny box hunt. I normally only get 10 rolls of pennies at a time, but with the news on the 2025 stopping of production, where those are going to go, I said, you know what? Let's just honor this and see if we can get a full box. I did look at the bottom side, and the bottom side is circulated. Nothing exciting that I could see through the little holes, but let's just take a look and see what we have here. I'm seeing some 1960s. What is this one here? Take a look at that one a little bit better. Where is that light? Is that 1950? I think we got an ender here. We do. So, not that you guys are going to be able to see this, but that's a 1953 ender. So, do 1953 ender. So we have at least one wheat. We got some 1960s, some shields. Interesting on the different heights there. Let's see here, 1990. What else do we have? 70, 1960, 60. Those are all memorial ends. Let's just take a look. 1970, 70. Unknown on that one. But yeah, so it looks like just the one ender, 1976. A lot of 70s, a couple 60s. This one's interesting. That's rubbed through pretty good. I'll say that's a, I like calling them laundry coins, probably the way that was painted or rubbed. No, that's rubbed. 1980 on there. So we at least have one Wheatie coming out in this. So that's a good sign. So I will probably do one row at a time here and bring in after each row, and that's going to be row 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get for that ender. Bring in for the first find. All right, folks, here we are. Roll number 1 of this came out pretty good. First one, we have our first Wheatie on here. Look at that. Decent condition, brown 1944, Philadelphia. Circulated, but pretty good details in there nonetheless. So we have our first Wheatie of the find. Of that, roll number 1 also has here 1982, and I do weigh these as I'm hunting, so I have my scale right there, but that's a 1982 Philadelphia, and I doubt we'll be able, oh, you know what, let's try it this way. If we pull up that, take a good look at that, that is a 1982 Philadelphia small date. So that's a little bit of the harder ones to find, but that's a copper 1982 small date. And the other nice find of this I'd already flipped up was the 1969 Denver. And we look here in that bottom corner, and there is no FG. That's where the FG should be. And it also has that, if I can get that focus there, it also has that floating roof that it's called. So, excuse me, so that is the FS 901 variation. So 1969 Denver FS 901, and all of that in roll number 1. Let's get going here and finish up on roll number 1, and I'll bring you back in for the next finds. All right, folks, here we are on roll number 10. I was going to give you a summary anyways, but look at this dirty coin that just came up. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that all too well. sort of see that 1 cent in the middle. Talk about your corrosion. But if you look at that, 1944. So that is a wheat cent. That's a Wheatie. That's just a very dirty, ugly Wheatie. So I'll add that to the collection. Of that, the other finds so far in these first 10 rolls, we did have 3 2009 presidency dollars. So we had his presidency, I believe, are with 2 that's called, and then his early years of his house. This one's in the best condition. This one's just, again, ugly, dirty, but 2009. There it is. So 3 more 2009s to add to the collection, and I'll bring you back in for the next finds. All right, folks, here we are, roll number 11, giving us our 3rd wheat cent. Let's take a closer look at that. Worn, definitely brown, but let's see what that date is. 1956 Denver. Bring you back in for the next find. All right, folks, roll number 12, bringing us our 4th wheat cent, coming up wheat cent end. Pretty good wire on that one, not too bad. Let's take a look at the date. 1919? 1913. Look at that. There's an oldie. 4-year-old. 1913. That might be a book filler. We'll bring you back in for the next find. All right, here we are on roll number 14. And this one came up front side first. And look at that, 1939. So 39 means we have a wheat cent. Pretty good condition there. Still see a bit of details in there. But for a 90-year-old coin, 80-year-old coin, not too bad. Have that, and I'll bring you back in for the next find. Here we are at the end of the roll number 19, and we have a Wheatie here, reverse side up, a little bit dirty, well worn. It's definitely seeing some age here. And speaking of age, let's see what this is. 1950 Denver. Too bad that can't be a nickel. Wish that was the nickel date I've been looking for, but 1950 Denver wheat cent. I'll bring you back in for the next find. All right, here we are at the end of roll 20. So rolls 11 through 20. These are the finds coming in. We did find our second. So here's another one. 1969 Denver FS 901. And this is the one where you will see there is no FG at the corner there. And you get that, get that on focus here. You get that floating roof going on there. So that's the FS 901. That's our second one for this group. We did have our first foreign find. This is a 1978 Canadian on there. So copper as well. We'll add that to the collection. We had 2 more 2009 and new areas. So we have his birth and early years here and professional life presidency on there. So those are 2, and these are in at least good conditions. Not upgrades for me, but we'll add those to the collection. And we had 4 more wheat cents. So this brings us up to 6 wheat cents in the first 20 rolls. And we have young ones. Look at that. 1913 Philadelphia. We had a 19 1939 Philadelphia. Those are both common years. We also had 1950 Denver. That was the last find. And we had a 1956 Denver. So all wheat cents. The first 20 rolls, 6 of them. So I will bring you in for the next find. All right, folks, here we are, roll 26, bringing up a reverse ender here. This is wheat cent number 7 for us. Let's take a look. 3, 2, 1. That is a 1954 Denver. Add that to our collection. Earlier, I didn't bring you in on these last 10 rolls. We did have another presidency, 2009. So really good condition. 2009 Philly. So that was the other find earlier in these last 6 rolls, and I'll bring you back in for the next find. All right, folks, here we are at the end of rolls 21 through 30. So the third group of 10, probably the quietest, uneventful 10 rolls that I've had. We did have our first find in the wild of a 2024 Denver. So that's a new one there that can go into a book. We did have a really nice 2009 presidency, Philadelphia, on that. And we only had the one wheat cent. Good condition, but that's common 1954. So that's it, rolls 21 through 30. So now I'm going to get going on rolls 31 through 40, and I'll bring you back in for the finds. All right, folks, here we are. Let's see here, roll number 31, and this was, I showed you at the beginning, was the ender. So let's take a gander there at that ender again. If I could find everything, there it is. We are looking at 1950 Denver. I can't quite see if that is a 3. I think that's 1953 Denver sitting at the end. So let's take a quick look at this and see what we're going to have. The last 10 rolls, as you saw, were uneventful, so hopefully this box is going to get busy again. And that is a pretty good mix here, but there we go. 1953 Denver. And Wheatie, I believe that's Wheatie number 8 out of here. So put that aside here, and I'll go through the rest of these. Do this real quick, because the other one was 70, but that's looking mostly dark and copper in between. Let's just see what these two ends were. That was the 1960. Yeah, it's a 1960 end and a 2004. So 1960. All right, I'll bring you back in for the finds. All right, folks, here we are for the summary of rolls 31 through 40. These rolls have been slowing up for me. The first 10 rolls started off really hot. Now we're not seeing much. So let's take a look here at the takeaways. So we have 1973 rotated die. I like putting it in the flip here because you can really see it when we flip that over. That's probably about a 15-degree rotation there. Should be there. Yeah, so if we say 90, 45, yeah, probably about 15-degree rotation. So 1973 rotated die, put that as a flip. This one was definitely more for the foreign finds. Had some good foreign finds. Look at that, 1959 Canadian. It's got the younger Queen Elizabeth image on that. We had a 1980 Canadian, a little bit dirty on that one. Always flip that the wrong way. There we go. So there's Queen Elizabeth on there. And then we had the 1992 anniversary year that they've got there. So nice for the Canadians to have that anniversary recognition, especially us coming on our 250-year anniversary. And notice the shaped edges. It's not the round, but this does have the crimped, or the, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. So I don't know the shape of a 16-sided coin, but we have that anniversary of the American finds. Very dirty early years. Or not early years. Oh, what is that one? Lincoln 2009. But like I said, you can see that just all beat up, corroded. We also have another 2009. Looked like something was rusting on top of that one. Got that nice little round stain to it. Again, another Philly. And then that roll 31, this was the one-ender, Wheatie, on there, and that was at 1953. Oh, it looks like a 5 at times. I keep having to look into that. And that's 53, right? Yep, 53. Those 3s and those 5s. Wow. But 53 Denver. All right, so 10 more rolls to go. So I'll get searching, and I'll bring you back in for the finds. All right, so I finished up with rolls 41 through 50, and there were just 4 coins that I didn't even bother bringing in for that last little summary, because I was getting ready and figured we'll just add it in here, because we do have quite a bit. There's my notes here. So across the top here, I do separate my capper a little bit differently. I get these through decades. So this small pile right here, we had 6 from 1959, the first year of the memorial cent. So I did put those separate. These are 1960s. We had 131 here. Of this, these are all the 70s, most popular. We had 302 cents from the 1970s. In the 1980s, 81s, 82s, I did weigh all of my 82s and kept the cappers, recycled the zinc, put them back into circulation. And so of the capper 1980s, we had 184. So all of that right there is a total of 1,937 grams. And how I got that, there's 623 capper cents. Multiply that by 3.11, the average capper coin. Now, so there's going to be a little bit of a weight difference, but that's 1,937.5 grams, which means this is roughly about 4¼ pounds. I know some people like weighing how many coins. I do mine by decades. It's the way I do. I do actually separate those, and once my bins are filled up per decades, I do roll them based on years, so that if anybody's looking for a copper year or a roll of 1971s, I have them. And some of them, if there's enough coins when I do that, I'll even separate 1971 Phillies versus 1971s Denver, so that, if there's any particular year or piece, I do go through and look through for some double die or error coins, but not always. I don't catch all of them. There's just so many of them to know on there. Of the other finds here, let's get that a little bit lower, is we did have just one out of a box of pennies. Just had the one 2024 Denver. That's my first one found in the wild, so that's going to go in my book. Of our foreign finds, we had a 1959. That was our oldest. Not quite a King George, but close. So Younghead Elizabeth, 1959. We had a 1963. Yeah, 63. 1978, 1980, we We had that anniversary year. That's the 1992 edition, and we had the 1998. So 6 foreign finds. We did have of our presidential series 2009s. We had two. We had a lot of these. So birth, early childhood. I should really write these down. Formative years. I can never remember this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we got 5 of them, and then the inauguration or the presidential, which these are the lowest minted ones, and we got a 2009, both of which are Philly, but really, really good condition on both of those. I don't think they're going to be a book upgrade, but I will be looking at that to have those on files. Of our wheat cents, we had a good spread. Like that first row was phenomenal. We got a 1919 Philadelphia. We got a 1939. Yeah, 39 Philadelphia. So nice early ones coming in. We had 2 1944 Phillies. We also had the 1950, 1955, 53, 54, and 56, all of which are Denver. So I'll have those written down there for you. Of the ones, I just don't know if it's worth flipping or not. We do have a copper 1982, but if you look at that 1982, look at that. That is the small date. So that is one of the harder ones to find. It's a Philadelphia 1982 small date. But when you look at that condition, it's got some spotting on it. It's a little bit dirty. On the other side, it's not too bad. Still a lot of detail. You can still see some of the lines in the steps. So it's got there, but it's got those little cud, dirty spots on it. So I don't know if that's worth flipping up or not. That's just a fun find. Of our flips, though, we had that 1973, which is a rotated die, about 15-degree rotation. And I did go back and check that other 69 No FG FS 901, and that's got that floating roof. And I had a second one in there, but upon my microscope viewing of it, it did have very weak FG, so I put that back in for the 1960s. So there we go, guys. That is the finds in one box of pennies. Not bad. I was hoping for more wheats. So we had, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 Wheaties out of a box. That seems to be about average. So thank you guys for making it all the way to the end, for joining me in on this video. Please remember to hit that like and that subscribe button so that I can do more videos and make those comments down below. And until the next time, the next video, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day and happy hunting.